So we've got some new potentially game-changing mods, a couple mini reworks, a slew of new simulacrums, as well as a round of Tenogen that may or may not have flown underneath your radar. Can we talk? Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your local problematic Leo, and today on another installment of kinda sorta Rob reads you shit that you don't want to read yourself, I wanted to go ahead and cover a couple items that I don't think got enough spotlight in the Jade Shadow. As you guys know, this update has just been chocked full of just stuff. We've got a new cinematic quest, we've got a new Warframe, we've got new weapons, and it's just impossible to kind of keep your brain wrapped around all of the things everywhere all at once. So I figured that I would go ahead and have a little chat about all of the items that I think are important topics that maybe you didn't quite realize were there. Now, as you can see up on the screen, I do have the new YARELI deluxe skin. We'll be covering that later, as well as another skin that you may have completely forgotten about. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at the less visual items. There's going to be a lot of words on the screen, so, you know, put me in the background while you're going ahead and doing your farm. So we're going to kick things off with kind of syndicate things, which one of the things really surprised me as I was looking at the new augments, which we're going to cover as well, is that we have new simulacrum rooms for each of the different syndicates. And I was like, wait a second, I need to get my hands on these straight out of the gate. So as you can see, we have the Ambulance Arena Simulacrum, which I'm assuming is pair and sequence. Moonlit Courtyard is New Locas. I think that's the one that was in like the Umbra quest. The Red Veil Temple Simulacrum, of course, from Red Veil. The Zanuka Arena Simulacrum from the Arbiters of Hexus. The Orokin Derelict Simulacrum from Cephalon Suda. Grineer Asteroid from Seal Meridian. Oroworm, from where? Arctis's wares? Oh, in Duviri. Bastard. I really wanted the Oroworm Arena Simulacrum, but I really don't want to be in Duviri. They've made some changes on that, but I'm not discussing Duviri until they get rid of some of that randomization. Regardless, let's go ahead and take a look at the new augments that also came from the syndicates. Now, for everybody who knows or has watched my previous video, I got really, really excited about the Dagoth one. Be less excited. It's not great. I was like, I need a break from all of this farming. I was like, let's go ahead and test out this augment. Oh, it was bad. It was really bad. But let's talk about that. Dagoth Grave Spirit augment. Immediately assume Grave Spirit spectral form, 100% chance for weapons and abilities to apply doom. Kills outside of spectral form increase its cooldown by 1 second. You just go into that invincibility mode and then you're locked out of that invincibility mode until you can kind of whittle it down. So it's not as fun as it sounded. Pratia Blaze Artillery. Now, for those of you guys who haven't already seen it in action, this one actually seems pretty good. You get a nice, I think, 20 times the multiplier on it, and it attaches to you the guns. The Zevagoth So Augment Dark Propagation. This one, enemies killed while infected with So spread its effect within a 15-meter radius. Shadow's Death Harvest also inflicts So, and it can also be recast now. I think that's just like a general change that they put in for that. I myself am not a Sevagoth main or a really big Sevagoth fan. They're fine, but I'm not really all that excited about it. We have Korvax's Containment Wall, the Wrecking Wall, which, like I said, has won the title for the best augment name, at least from this batch. Strip 50% of armor and shields from struck enemies. Hitting 5 or more enemies will restart the duration of any Shriyanka pillars and empower them. And that one seems kind of good, but I don't know if I necessarily have space for that in my build. Like, I don't like it enough. Let me know if you are loving Mr. Korvax and you want to play around with that. Regardless, let's go ahead and jump on into the next one. This is the big one. I saw this and I instantly knew that I wanted to cover this, mainly because of the fact that I am a shotgun lover. I love my shotguns and they count as semi-auto weapons. So there are some new semi-auto fire mods, and these are kind of like potentially a staple depending on how fast your guns fire. So these new mods can be equipped on semi-auto fire weapons only and prevent their firing speed from being modified once equipped. So keep that in mind. I don't think that your, that your fire thing will be able to be changed at all. So it doesn't matter at what point you put these in, they're their shooting is going to be fixed to the base of the weapon. So you get these from Juno, Sapper, Moa enemies in the Ascension missions. You'll be able to get them pretty easily if you've been running the quest, the event. You can identify which weapons are eligible via the arsenal if the trigger type is semi. So we have semi-rifle cannonade. It's 240 damage. And yes, this does stack with your base. At least it's stacked with mine. Like, listen, I'm gonna check my mods once we get into the game because I need to make sure, because it's on there right now. And it also gives 1.5 punch through. So I mean, that's pretty chunky for a semi-rifle. We also have the semi-pistol cannonade. I want to check this out on the Barak. The Kuva Barak. 300 damage, 1.5 punch through. Or the Detron, Mara Detron, or any of the Detrons. Like, that feels sexy to me. And then the shotgun cannonade, 240 damage, as well as 1.5 punch through. Oh, it feels kind of sexy. And like I said, from what I remember, it stacks. Now, we have new status damage mods. These ones I haven't played around with that much. Let me know how you guys like them. Ooh, but they could be sick on like a Tigris or something. Oh, all the slash procs. This mechanic was originally introduced with Dante, and we have dedicated a whole series of dual stat mods to it. Increasing your status damage stat increases the damage per tick for statuses that do damage over time, specifically slash, heat, electricity, toxin, blast, and gas. Earn these new mods from Juno, Sapper, Moa enemies found in the Incession missions. So there's Rifle Elementalist, Melee Elementalist, Pistol Elementalist, and Shotgun Elementalist. Oh, they do have slightly different tweaks to them. So Rifle is 90% status damage plus a little bit of punch through. Melee Elementalist is 90% status damage and 60% heavy attack wind-up speed. Pistol Elementalist is 90% status damage, 60% reload speed, and Shotgun Elementalist is 90% status damage and 60% magazine capacity. I don't know if I'm going to be playing with those. I have them. Do I want to test them? No, I have things that I need to do, but let me know if they're feeling kind of juicy for you, if you're liking the results that you're getting with them, and I will go ahead and maybe spend some time to play around with them. But we're definitely going to be looking at the cannonades in a second. Now, the other thing that I wanted to go ahead and touch on is going to be the reworks. Listen, I know there were a lot of Frost lovers out there that went apeshit, and you're like, what do you mean? Of course I wouldn't forget about Frost. Frost has the new augment. Well, okay, it's an augment for everybody, but as you guys know that there is a new arcane that came with the event where I think you get power, strength, and duration for enemies that you freeze. So of course, he's going to be at the top level, but we also have some changes coming to Ember. All right, so Frost, the definitively themed cold Warframe, has received a rework to better situate him for how cold works with this update. While Frost dealt icy attacks to his foes, the freeze from his hit was not tied to cold status effects. With the update to cold status, we have also amended his kit to properly use cold status effects to freeze enemies. New passive, Fortifying Freeze, and this is the big one. Cold status effects applied by Frost abilities have their duration increased by 100%. Frost gains 50 armor per enemy inflicted with cold status within 15 meters. Oh, it's only 15 meters. Boo, boo, boo. Oh my god, you should have given us affinity range. Is that greedy? Is that greedy to ask for affinity range? I mean, maybe not affinity range. What about 30 meters? Listen, I'm willing to go to 45 meters. 45 meters is the minimum, right? Right? We can work with 45 meters. Can we please do that? They probably tested it, so it is what it is. So freeze first ability adds required cold stacks to freeze instead of simply freezing both to initial hit and AoE interactions. Ooh, so you get like a mini like freeze. Duration is now known as freeze duration, indicating how long the affected target is frozen. Doubled the baseline area effect component to his projectiles. Ooh, the area effect aspect now scales with the ability range stat. The area effect radius now is presented in the ability description. Great. Ice Wave ability. Duration is now known as freeze duration, indicated how long the target is frozen. Ice Wave impotence augment changes. Leaves a frozen trail for 12 seconds that adds a cold status effect per second on enemies in contact with it. Snow Glow, this is the big one. Applies a cold status every 3 seconds. Oh, couldn't it be like every 1 second? Like, you guys, listen, Frost Mains, I'm fighting for you. Inside the globe. Updated slow stat to cold status per second. Instantly, ooh, it sounds like that means it might be affected. We'll have to see. Instantly apply full cold stacks on cast if an enemy is within snow globe range. No longer blocks player projectiles from the outside. Snow globe now visually cracks as it takes damage. Ooh, that's going to be pretty. When the snow globe breaks, it'll also explode and deal damage and 3 cold stacks to enemies within its radius. This feels like there's going to be a lot of math happening. How many stacks can we stack on the stacks? Chilling Globe augment changes. Updated the augment to add 10 cold stacks if the condition is met, i.e. unify the freeze with the cold status effects as we normally do now. Avalanche, 4th ability, adds the required cold stacks instead of only freezing. Its duration stat is now freeze duration, indicating how long the target effect is frozen. So, as you can see, they're all in on the status effect cold stuff. This is going to be, I hope this is going to be fantastic. It sounds absolutely fantastic, and it sounds really, really good with that new arcane. Plus, he's got that, like, mod already. Like, who just gets a mod that says, hey, listen, Frost, you get bonus critical damage? It was just an augment. I just found it one day. I was like, it's on there, and I was like, okay. Ember changes. This is the one that I wanted to go ahead and mark as well because we do have some Ember mains out there, and she is going to be getting that new heirloom skin, so keep your eyes out for that booty. Ember changes. We've made changes to the Heat Incarnate Warframe Ember to stoke the flames of her power and give her some more firepower. So Fireball, first ability, remove the hold to charge for maximum target damage. The damage increase 500% from a previous hold charge is now applied to the default tap cast. So instant damage. All there. Its AoE has now 100% guaranteed status effect. Previously, it only had a 50% chance to apply the effect. Increase the radius from 2 meters to 3 meters. Previously, its max range was fully charged was 2.4, so we bumped it up to 3 meters for all casts. Added an immolation meter stat to inform the amount of heat Fireball regenerates for immolation. Immolation second ability, reduce the energy per second cost when at max heat from 10 to 4. Nice. We want to make it easier for players to maintain its heat gauge at max. Added an immolation meter stat. Okay, just like the other one. Fire Blast third ability. Energy cost now scales based on the immolation's heat gauge. 75 energy at the lowest, all the way down to 25 at its max. So they really want to make sure that you guys are keeping the heat gauge high. Fire Blast heat damage and armor reduction now affects bosses that are by default vulnerable to armor stripping abilities, EX Captain Vor, as well as Alkalites and Demolishers. Its knockdown effect will not affect those listed that are CC immune. Improved hit detection so that enemies at varying heights in relation to you, above or below, are hit by the Fire Blast. Added immolation meter stats, added an immolation meter on cast to inform of the percent of Fire Blast removed from the immolation when cast. Augment mod changes. This one is really interesting. Healing Flame now converts all over healing, gaining heat points while at max health as Overguard. Overguard is getting feisty, you guys. Overguard is getting real powerful. Description now reads, each enemy hit heals by 25 to 50 depending on current immolation level, with Ember overheating grants you Overguard. This only applies to Ember herself and not to Fire Blast on other Warframes via Helmeth. Okay, so that is just an Ember thing, which is kind of cool. It kind of makes it very special for her. Purifying Flame. Ember will now also benefit from the status effect cleansing and status immunity when hit by the Ring of Fire. That's kind of sad that she wasn't before. It's her own fire. Inferno, fourth ability. The heat damage per second from the Ring of Fire can now trigger heat status effects for a boost in its CC and give it more lasting effect on impacted enemies. Added an angle stat to better inform the line of sight checks. Added immolation meter so that you guys know how much. Other Ember changes, moved Ember's passive icon from the buffs bar to above the immolation gauge, which is kind of cool because now you can see exactly how much you're getting from the buff. Fix recasting Ember's Fire Blast while another Fire Blast is active, resulting in the original Fire Blast not armor stripping or interacting properly with the Healing Flame augment. Fix Purifying Plant. Okay, those are just some fixes. There are also some minor tweaks that happen to Goss, Atlas, and Baruch, but they're really not worth changing, or really not worth covering. They're just mainly talking about how the different status effect changes change them. It was nothing too major. Now, let's go ahead and get into the skins that we might have missed. Hold on, I'm going to double check my list. I think we've gotten a majority of that, but before we do, I did want to go ahead and check on my Strun to make sure that it does, like, this is proof, okay? We have semi-shotgun cannonade, all right? So that's base damage. We have prime point blank, which is base damage. They stack, baby. They stack, baby. That is sexy. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm gonna have to play with the different ones, but the star of the show right now, of course, is Miss YARELI in her Pandia Deluxe skin. Look at this. This is my customization. I will leave the color codes down in the description box below. As you guys know, R stands for row, C stands for column, the name of the palette. Yeah, I do it at the beginning of all of those videos. So, in my opinion, the skin is weird and wonky and kind of odd. Some people are telling me they don't like the Cyclopsian feel that's going on with her. I'm kind of into it, you guys. I'm kind of into it. It's like a different version of YARELI, and I can't say that I like it better than Magical Girl YARELI, because Magical Girl YARELI is, of course, a vibe, right? Especially when we give it Magical Demon Lord YARELI. Like, we love that, like some Madoka Magica vibes right there. But this is like a cool, different vibe, and I'm kind of really into it. So in this deluxe skin, you also get a compressor skin, which I don't really use the compressor, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, but it is cute. It's like, it's got bubbles. It's a bubble gun. How are we going to be mad about that? Then, of course, it also comes with, this was weird. How are you going to have, what is this? It's, oh my god, a Sugatra. See this little the dangly bit? How you gonna have a Sugatra but not have a weapon? Like a melee weapon that comes along with it, right? Did I miss that? I'm pretty sure I didn't miss that. We'll double check if I missed that, but I'm pretty sure it's just a Sugatra. It's just a Sugatra, it's the gun, and then of course we have Marielena looking all pearly and pretty. Hold on, let me see if I can get a better shot. I can't get a better shot of Marielena apparently. But she looks absolutely beautiful and wonderful. Can I zoom out? I can't. Appearance, maybe? Nope. Can't. That's as good as we're gonna get for the Marielena visuals. So you'll be able to pick that up with the update. There's also another round of Tennogen that I actually wanted to go ahead and show off real quick, because it addresses one Warframe that I felt needed a little bit of visual of, because I actually really like them. They're a weird frame, but I kind of like, you know, I like a little concept, right? When they're messing around with some concepts. And I was kind of really into the, into LAVOS, right? But I didn't love the visuals. But these visuals, oh baby, this is their YERSIN skin. Hold on, let me make sure I get the offer. By Lubox. Lubox has made some pretty good skins in their time. So it's like a Plague Doctor version. The only thing that I will say is I struggled to find a good animation. I had some, for some reason, LAVOS is just kind of like awkward. I feel like he's a little socially awkward. He's just too busy playing with his pills and potions, if you know what I mean. But he looks good. He looks good, right? I'm vouching for this. I haven't done a Tennogen episode. Maybe I should do a Tennogen episode sometime soon. Color codes for this will also be left down in the description box below. So I'm actually a big fan, and you know what? This might get me to play LAVOS a little more, because don't get me wrong, I think that, oh, that's not what I meant to do. I think that this look is really cool. It's kind of mushroomy. It is definitely kind of giving what is it called? It's giving The Last of Us vibes. But I don't know if I always want to play like, a clicker, because that's what it feels like very much to me. So make sure you go ahead and check out the newest batch of Tennogen. There's also like a skin for Miss Geyer in there too. I'm not a fan of the aesthetic when it comes to what is it? The Worm Queen and whatever her name is. So a part of me is like, meh, okay, we're looking at the Pandia bundle real quick, just so that you can get a price. It's $245. And yes, there's no melee weapon, but there is a Sugatra. Why? I do not know. But that is going to go ahead and bring my video to a close. I hope that you guys are having fun with the Jade Shadows update. I hope you guys didn't miss out on these. I'm sure you guys probably saw some of these new mods dropping. But in case you needed a highlight for what in the world they do, and if they stack, you know that they do now. Alright, so that about does it for me for now. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.